And welcome back to the Aussie Millions high stakes cash game. A seat at this table will cost you $250,000, and there is the balance sheet. All the players in white on the right-hand side, they are in the money, and all the guys in red, they are losing money. Shing, Fung, yes, ladies and gentlemen, he's down $188,000. They are playing with cash. I'm sitting with Grant Levy, 2007 winner of the grand final, APPT in Sydney. Grant, so far, has anything surprised you?
Not really. There hasn't been any huge pots yet. A few guys willing to get involved. Polk has been pretty active, and Lowe has been pretty active as well. Haven't seen much from Phil Ivey. Haven't seen much from Haxton yet. Expect some fireworks at some stage. Patrik's been pretty quiet too.
Well, players splashing the pot with their cash, I guess. Paul Newey with King Jack of Diamonds. Phil Ivey, Jack 7 of Spades. Let's have a look. The flop, a King, a 4 and a 4. 2 hearts. And look at this, Haxton with 4-5. He's flopped trips.
And Paul Newey with top pair, good kicker.
Ike out of position in the small blind here. Position so important, both in tournament and cash game.
Absolutely. If you're in position, it means you get to act after your opponent, so you get all the available information before you act on your own hand. Isaac out of position, but has the trips and has the best hand. He's checked. Paul's bet 15K.
Ivey has folded, so the action is now back on Haxton, who check raises to 35,000. He's going to go in for the kill straight away.
And 4 is certainly in his range, just calling out the small blind here. Your little suited connectors, things like that. Also, with 2 hearts on the board, he could be representing a flush draw here.
Now, does Paul think, well, Ike might be representing a 4, so is that what he's trying to do here? So if he knows that I know that he knows that I know, that kind of game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Paul will be thinking things through. He does have top pair, and he's made a good fold.
Yeah, he certainly has. So Paul Newey from, well, he's from Britain or England. And he's made a very solid fold there. Ike Haxton with a nice little pot of just over $70,000.
Yeah, I could probably be a little bit upset there that he didn't get a little bit more value.
Ike Haxton, a very prominent figure in the poker world, with 6 World Series of Poker final tables and 2 main event cashes. He's really come on in the last 5 years, has Ike?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of came into the poker world with a bit of a bang. Won PCA in the PCA main event in 2007. And since then has played the highest stakes cash games online and live and done very well for himself.
Phil Ivey. Yeah, the best player in the world. Raises. He's got ace deuce of hearts.
And as you can see, there's no straddle in this hand. So the raise size is a little bit smaller, back to 6,000 again. So the pot going to the flop. If it's just a single raise pot, obviously going to be a little bit smaller.
And Doug Polk calls with pocket 8s. Perhaps a little bit of set mining. And the flop. Well, a 9-10-6 flop. All hearts. We've got Max Altergott joining us as well with Queen Jack offsuit. And Ivey's flopped the nuts.
Yeah, Ivey's flopped the nuts. And Max has an open-ended straight draw with the jack high flush draw, and Doug has an inside straight flush draw.
Well, Ivey leads. The pot's about 36,000. Ordinarily, if you flop the nuts, you're very worried about how you're going to get paid. But right here, judging by what you're saying, Grant, is he's going to get paid.
Yeah, everyone's got a little piece of it. I mean, Max's hand looks pretty, but he's facing a bet and a call. He just has queen high. He does have a couple of draws, but those draws, and in this case it is correct, those draws might not be live.
Well, he hits his draw on the turn, so actually both players do. So Ivey with the nuts. Now Doug Polk with an 8 high flush, and Max Altergott with a jack high flush. So what's happening here? Just carry us through. Ivey leads again. Pot's getting bigger now. It's up to 100,000.
I don't think Doug can continue with the hand after Max calls on the flop there.
Still with a straight flush draw, though.
He does, but he has one out.
One
he can't
card.
like his 8 high flush.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah. Always a chance, but he lets it go, and that's the right decision.
Now Max with the jack-high flush. Now Ivey's led on both streets here.
Well, Ivey led into 2 opponents on the flop, and he's leading into 2 opponents on the turn, even though the turn bought a 4th heart. Now Max has got to think, what's Phil betting twice with into 2 people that the jack-high flush beats?
Calls.
Oh, Max calls. The pot grows to over $150,000. The river, a jack of spades, doesn't change anything really.
No, it doesn't. But if Phil bets here, Max has got to think, well, I only beat a bluff. I only beat the 8 of hearts, or the 7 of hearts, or the 4 or 3 or 2. They're the only flushes I beat. Phil's bet 3 times now. I just don't think Max can call.
85,000 was the amount. The pot was in fact 136,000, not 156. So the pot now at $221,000, $85,000. Max Altergott with a jack-high flush.
Folds.
And he folds. He makes the correct fold, but it did cost him some dough.
It cost him some money. I don't blame... I can't fault his call on the flop. His call on the turn was okay as well, given that a lot of the time if Phil doesn't have it, he's not going to fire a 3rd time, so he's going to get to showdown relatively cheaply. Obviously, this occasion, Phil did have it. He bet big. Max made the right laydown.
So this is another multi-way pot where Ivey has ace-deuce of hearts and it comes beautiful. 10-9-6 all hearts. He's basically got the nuts unless someone has a straight flush. Now the other 2 players in the hand both have good hands. You got 8s with a heart, queen-jack with a heart. So it makes sense that Ivey bets here and they both call. Now the turn card comes a heart, and I'm actually a little bit surprised that Ivey bets here because it's very unlikely they're going to call unless they have a set or 2 pair. Maybe he was worried about that, or maybe he's playing his image. The 8s makes a really good fold, Doug Polk does, and then of course you get the call from Max Altergott with the jack of hearts. On the river, Max is smart enough to get away from the hand. Ivey went pretty greedy, betting a lot, like over 80,000 in that spot, and Max was smart enough to fold, knowing that it's very unlikely Ivey was going to bluff by betting flop, turn, and river without the ace of hearts.